This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom Murphy now joining us here on the Morning Rush, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette and Whole Hog Sports. Tom, it's finally here. It's game day less than 12 hours from now, and I guess less than 11 hours from now, if I'm doing the math right. The Arkansas Razorbacks will take on the UConn Huskies at 6:15 on CBS and on right here ESPN Arkansas. As you've kind of dove in to this game per se a little bit more, what is something Arkansas can take advantage of against a really talented UConn team tonight?
Well, I just think maybe team speed, and just their height. I mean, I know UConn's got big inside dudes, but yeah, and they're a good team. I mean, when you beat Bama, you can play at the highest level. So this is going to be a really tough game. They're going to have to shoot well. I think they're going to have to run their offense a little smoother than they ran it against Kansas the other day.
You mentioned the team speed, and I want to stay there for a sec because one of the things that assistant coach Roberts for Kansas was talking about with Arkansas is they're the most athletic team they played all year outside of maybe Texas. That was the comparison he made. And I know that some listeners, when they heard that, like, ugh, we don't want to be compared to Texas. But, I mean, when you stack up Arkansas's guards and wings and what they have inside, Tom, it's really understandable why some teams struggle against the Razorbacks, and maybe that will be the same for UConn, who hasn't necessarily played this athleticism in the Big East later on tonight.
Yeah, and I think Arkansas's athleticism is something that's helped carry them through even games when they haven't shot it well, and they didn't shoot it particularly well against Kansas. They just, I don't know, Kansas kind of, I think they felt the pressure late in the game, and Devo Davis had the game of his life. I mean, some of his turnaround jumpers, some of his, the layups off the glass and stuff in heavy traffic were shots that he doesn't make with the same consistency that he made the other night. He was on fire, and I think the Mitchell twins are going to have to be a much bigger component to this game. I think Jalen Graham's got to get some playing time. I mean, they're going to. I think I said this Tuesday, but against Sanogo and them, they're going to have to use up an allotment of fouls, and he's not a great foul shooter, and so I think they're just going to have to challenge the shots and try to get out in the open floor as much as they can, because to me that's when Arkansas has been at its very best, when Council can get out and do some of his highlight dunks, and you're just basically employing or enforcing your athleticism on the other team.
We're talking with Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette and Whole Hog Sports this morning. He joins us every Thursday at 7:20 and every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Tom, you were talking about Arkansas's big men, Makhi Mitchell, who I think Mikkel's going to play a lot more tonight just because of the size that UConn brings to the table. How have you thought that they've evolved their games this season, especially Makhi, who really didn't play a lot early on, but has played considerably more down the stretch outside of last game?
Yeah, to me, it's just game to game with them. I mean, when you think about early in the season, Makhi was making the first shot of games very often. I mean, nice little pick and rolls and stuff, him rolling to the rim, and there were some games where he did a lot of the early scoring. Both of them have been decent shot blockers. Both of them have played good physical defense, and that's what they need to do in this game. There was one game, I can't remember where, but I think it was 2/3 of the way through conference season, where Makhi hit a jumper and scored, about 10 points. And so he's had his moments. That's the thing about this Arkansas roster. You got guys like Graham, who scored 26 in a game, the Mitchells, who've both been able to go off in certain games. I mean, Joseph Pinion's had big scoring games. So you never know when your minutes are going to come. You got Kamani, who has spent weeks where he doesn't even get playing time, and he gets 10 boards for you in the Kansas game. So that's what's been phenomenal about this roster.
I think Kamani is one of the best teammates that Arkansas has had on this basketball team in a long, long time. You kind of alluded to it, Tom. here's a kid that at some points will go long stretches without playing during the course of the season. All of a sudden he's in there. He's giving you 10 rebounds, 6 offensive. He seems like a very good team-first chemistry guy, which today's college basketball, it's hard to be. How influential, how important do you think Kamani has been the last 3 years? I know he didn't play 2 years ago, but what do you think he's done for this roster in terms of the team chemistry the last 3 years?
It's super meaningful because when guys see that he's in a great mood, he's always encouraging. He'll not play for 2 or 3, 4 consecutive games, but he's always encouraging and being a good teammate, and they see that. But then when he gets his opportunity, he does something like he did against Kansas, and they're like, how can I be frustrated and, gripe about my playing time when here's a guy who's a senior who does this? And so I just think it's a fine piece to have in your locker room when you have someone who takes that attitude into the daily.
It's kind of like the Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, contributor, guy, a big glue guy over there. So we appreciate again Tom joining us every morning. Devo Davis, they're calling it Devo Las Vegas, not Viva Las Vegas, Devo Las Vegas. If you're Devo and you're heading into this game today, Tom, how do you balance not forcing, because you had 25 in this last game, you need every point. How do you balance not forcing your shot and trying to do what you do last game to just kind of being within the flow of the offense and picking your spots like he seemed to against Kansas?
That is a great question, and I don't think it's an easy answer because in the first half he was taking some 25-footers. He and Council both, and they didn't have a whole lot going on offensively. In fact, there's times when I wonder how do they come back and win that game. But in the second half, it was him going to the rack mostly. I mean, driving through the trees, getting shots up off the glass, that turnaround jumper. He had a couple of those. And at that point, he was hot, and the heat check worked, and he basically shot him back into the game when it looked kind of dire. And so I don't think gunning right at the start of the game is the answer, but if you drive to the rim and draw fouls, that's more the answer. And they got to get something out of Nick Smith. When I think back that Nick Smith played a bad game against him, he didn't take a ton of shots, but his minutes weren't super productive. He played good defense. And Anthony Black didn't shoot well, and Council was 5 for 18 or whatever it was. And they still won, and the Mitchell twins didn't contribute a ton. It just blows my mind that they beat Kansas.
No, I think that's a great point. When you talk about Nick Smith, 2 of 14 in the tournament games thus far, and I think people are quick to forget that he's the one that helped beat Auburn with that game-winning shot with about 20 seconds left. It's so difficult as a true freshman to instantaneously impact a game in a season. I don't think we realize how difficult it is when you're playing grown men at 21 and 22 years old. For Nick, how do you let go of that pressure? How do you let the game come to you? Because it's different from Devo. Tom, how do you think, with his teammates encouraging him, his coaches encouraging him, if you're Nick, how do you approach this game tonight?
Just being a member of a team and not I have got to do. I mean, the proof is in the last game. He didn't do much, and they won the game. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, I'm a component. I think he understands probably, however, if he has a hot shooting game, it takes him to a different level. It takes a little bit off of Devo and Council and Black. So just work within the flow. I mean, there's some games where he just kind of created late in the shot clock, and it's been successful for Arkansas. And so if he can do that, it would be of great help. I don't think he's let it get him too down, but he is a freshman, and he is used to, say, the acclaim and the spotlight. And so there does have to be a psychological element to what he's going through. Mm-hmm. But I just think that he can see around him. Kamani Johnson doesn't play a lot, comes in and gets 10 rebounds, is a huge part of the game. His putback was the biggest basket of the game on the missed Council free throw. I think that was a jump shot. But anyway, he can just see that, hey, man, it doesn't have to be all me. I don't have to be on fire for us to win a game. And so, hopefully that's the attitude he's taking in.
All right, Tom, got 3 rapid-fire questions before we let you go. It's National Chip and Dip Day. I need your best chip and dip combo. It's National Puppy Day. You prefer dogs or cats. And then National Tamale Day. I need your best tamale in Arkansas before we let you go this morning.
All right, in backwards order. I'm not a tamale eater. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
I love dogs and cats. I really do. We have both. But I would say I'm more of a dog guy.
Oh, man.
Now, chips and salsa. I was somewhere recently where I got their queso, and if I could remember, I would name it. But it was a phenomenal queso. Oh, you know what? Oh man, Torchy's Tacos makes a great. That's where it was. They make a great queso dip.
Well, I have had it, and you're exactly right, Tom. We appreciate you joining us this morning, buddy. As always, you always bring good stuff to us, not just sports conversation and analytics and analysis, but you can talk a little bit of everything, as always.
Hey, man, what about this UConn basketball team having to move hotels because they moved into a raunchy hotel? How about that, man?
I'm going to be honest. I guess that's bad reporting on my part. I have not even seen that this morning.
Hey, Google it on the next break, man. Give you something to talk about. See y'all.
BetOnline remains your #1 source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.